Greetings, this is Spec Ops 56 and welcome to Crockpot Meals for Real Men Thanksgiving Edition. Today we're going to have another doubleheader for you. First, in the main crockpot, we're going to show you a good way to use up all that leftover turkey that I know you're going to have after Thanksgiving. We're going to make a nice, easy, simple turkey stew. And for dessert, in the small crock pot, we're going to make a crockpot pumpkin angel food cake with hot caramel sauce. So stay tuned while we go get all the ingredients together, and I'll be right back and show you what we're going to do. Alright, here's what we're going to need for the turkey stew. As you can see, it's going to be pretty simple. Now, you know, if it's after Thanksgiving, you're going to want to be using your leftover turkey, but since I'm making this before Thanksgiving, I don't have any leftover turkey to use. So for this, I'm using these turkey breast cutlets. So that ought to be pretty good. You're going to be wanting some corn. Now for stuff like this, these kind of stews, I like to use the frozen. So I get a big bag and I take out the amount that I need, probably around a cup or so. You know, you use as much or as little as you like. And then I've got the rest to eat later. Same thing with this. And get a bag of peas and carrots. Use however much you think you're going to need. You're going to need some potatoes. I got these 3 red potatoes. That may be too much. It might be just enough. You're going to wash them and you're going to peel them and cut them up. And you're going to need to get some chopped onion. I just got this big yellow sweet onion, and I'll probably chop up about half of it, and that'll be plenty. You're going to need some chicken broth. I like to use the Swanson. You're going to need a dash of hot sauce. This, of course, is optional. And same thing, a few dashes of Worcestershire sauce, also optional. And you're going to need a little bit of poultry seasoning. So that's pretty much everything you're going to need to put together this turkey stew. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to cut away, and we'll go ahead and get everything prepared to go into the crock pot. And once we've done that, we will come back and we'll put everything in the crock pot and go from there. Okay, we're back. We got the meat all cut up and browned in a little bit of vegetable oil, a little salt and pepper on it. Got the about a half of that onion chopped up. We got the 3 potatoes peeled and chopped up, and got about this much, I guess around a cup of the whole kernel corn. Same thing, about a cup of the peas and carrots. I did fail to mention one of the ingredients that we need for this, and that's the garlic powder. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. First thing, we'll put the meat in the crock pot. I'm not worried about the little bit of juice that comes with it, but just to add flavor. Okay. Next, just drop the onions in there. And mix it up. corn in. Mix it up. Alright, now we'll go with a little bit of the potatoes. Starts to get full in there. That's okay. It'll all cook down some. And the peas and carrots. There went one of the peas. Alright, now take a little garlic powder. Nothing, no particular measurement, just you know, to your taste, whatever you think looks right. As you can tell from all my previous cooking videos, I'm not a real big, precise measurement sort of cook. Now on the poultry seasoning, you want to use, if I can get it out, you want to use, about a teaspoon or two, if you can get it out. Alright, that's close enough for going to work. And this is optional. Dash 2 of hot sauce. Just so happens that's the rest of the hot sauce in this particular bottle, so that works out. Same thing here. A little dash or 2 of Worcestershire sauce. Your taste. And then what I like to do is take the chicken broth and I'll pour it in. Not using any particular amount, but I'll pour it in until it reaches the top of the solid ingredients. I can add more as I go along if it needs it, but it probably won't. Alright, now we'll give this a mix. Try to get some of that spices, powders to blend in. If you can see it or not, but that's what it looks like before we cook it. Put the lid on, plug it in, and turn it on high. We'll cook it on high. In my experience, most soups and stews and things like that, most anything you cook in the crock pot generally cooks up just right in about 4 hours on high. So that's what we'll do. We'll come back in a couple hours and stir it, and then in 4 hours we'll come back, check it out. If it's done, then we'll eat it. So now in the next segment we're going to go ahead and start preparing the dessert. So until then, okay, now we're going to talk about dessert. For dessert today, since we're on a Thanksgiving theme, we're going to be making a Crockpot pumpkin angel food cake. It's pretty simple, not many ingredients. The main ingredient is going to be a 16-ounce angel food cake mix. Okay? You're going to need a can of pumpkin. Now this is not the pumpkin pie filling. This is a can of pure pumpkin. Make sure you don't get confused. Going to need some pumpkin pie spice, some vanilla extract, and I prefer to use real vanilla extract. Store brand works just fine. And then after the cake is done and we're ready to eat it, we'll take this jar of Smucker's hot caramel topping and put the jar in, without the top of course, in the microwave, heat up the hot caramel topping and drizzle it on top of the cake. The only other thing you'll need is some Pam to spray on the inside of the Crockpot, so that the cake won't stick to the sides and will come out easier. And you'll need a cake cooling rack. Now, I'll come back shortly and show you how to put it all together. I'll see you then. Alright, we're back and it's time to make dessert. Alright, now, save a little time, I've gone ahead and what you do, take the Angel Food Cake mix and mix it up according to the directions. In a separate bowl, you take the can of pure pumpkin and mix it up with 1 teaspoon of the vanilla extract. I personally like a good bit of vanilla flavoring and stuff like this, so I personally used about 1.5 teaspoons. But you can do it the way you want it. And you put in 1/2 teaspoon roughly of the pumpkin pie spice and just mix it all up. Now, another thing you need to do preparatory is you want to spray the inside of the crock really well with the non-stick spray. Then plug it in, turn it on high, and for this recipe it calls for preheating the crock pot before you put the stuff in it. So I'm letting it preheat while we're mixing up the rest of the batter. Okay, from here on it's pretty simple. You want to just kind of gently fold in, mix in the pumpkin mixture with your cake mixture. Ours turned out pretty frothy here, because even the lowest setting on our mixer is pretty high speed. So yours may not look quite like this. And frankly, I'm not exactly sure how this is going to affect the final result. We'll find this out together. Also, be advised that I'm not the Galloping Gourmet. So, you know, or Julia Child, so I'm afraid my cake batter mixing technique may not be the best. But you know, what the heck, I'm a guy. What do you expect? Okay. I will say that I'm surprised at just how soupy this cake batter has become. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I've never actually made an angel food cake, much less a pumpkin angel food cake. But I'm doing the best I can, and we will see what happens. Nice thing about cake is that even if you screw it up, it's probably still pretty good to eat. Now, it's time to pour it in the crock. Be too bad. It is a bit messy. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but that's kind of what it looks like. Now, what we'll do is cover it up, leave it on high, and we'll come back in about 2 hours to check on its progress. So until then, we're going to go eat some stew. Alright, stew's done. Now it's time for John's famous taste test. So I'll dish him out a bowl. Lots of good stuff in here. Lots of good stuff. And we get a little bit more broth. Okay. All right, John. All right. See what you think. Show the audience what it looks like.
This is it right here.
And let's get your honest opinion.
Let's see how it tastes this time. Mmm. Dead on. Just like the last ones you made. You can't beat it.
Now I thought that it was a little too peppery for my taste. I think it was the poultry spice wasn't quite what I was thinking it was. Maybe it was just the brand. I've had other chicken spice that was more salty than peppery, but it's not an overwhelming pepperiness. And you could probably put in a little hot sauce, a little Worcestershire sauce, maybe a little soy sauce, or pretty much anything you wanted to cut the pepperiness if you don't like that much pepperiness. What do you think?
I love it just the way it is. Suits me just right.
Well, see, you know, different people, different tastes.
Different tastes.
All right, well, that has been the stew portion of this Thanksgiving doubleheader. And as soon as the pumpkin angel food cake is ready for dessert, we'll take you to that. So, I'll see you then. All right, let's see if it's done. Put the toothpick in. It looks like brains. This will be a good one to do for Halloween. Add a little red and a little green food coloring, and you got zombie brains cake. So anyway, let's see. In the middle, put it in, pull it out, and mostly clean, just a little tiny bit, but I don't think that matters. I think it's done. Now, one thing I've noticed with crockpot cakes, and especially one like this where we added something as dense as pumpkin, it's probably not going to be, you know, as light and fluffy as you would expect angel food cake to be. From what I can see so far, it looks like it's more along the lines of the density and texture of bread pudding. But we'll see. Next thing we need to do is we're going to have to flip the cake onto the cooling rack, and I'll do that off camera. So in case I flip it somewhere other than the cooling rack, I won't have to be embarrassed. So I'll see you when I'm done flipping. Okay, after a little struggle with the slippery crock and pot holders and such, we managed to get the cake out and flipped onto the cooling rack. And as you can see, it looks pretty darn good. We lost a little bit here in the center that stuck to the bottom of the crock, but not much. And it is pretty much, at this point, more like a bread pudding type of consistency than what you would expect from an angel cake. But that's okay. I happen to like bread pudding. So we're going to let this cool for about a half an hour, and in the meantime, while that's happening, we're going to brew up a pot of some nice Javalia chocolate flavored coffee to go with it, And when we come back, we'll have it dished out. We'll have the caramel sauce drizzled on the pieces, and you'll get to take a look at it just before we eat it and see the final result. So I'll see you. Alright, it's time for dessert. The cake seemed to have come out pretty decent. Maybe a few more minutes in the crock pot wouldn't have hurt it, but it's pretty good as is. We've heated up the caramel sauce in the microwave and drizzled it a little bit, as you can see. And we've made ourselves some nice Gevalia chocolate flavored coffee to enjoy with our cake. So now it's time for the taste test. I'll let John, our official guinea pig, go first.
It is real good, without a doubt.
How's the texture?
Just like you said.
Okay.
In other words, it's not a cake like it's. Try that. It's like a pudding.
Yeah. Yeah, like I say, about like a bread pudding.
Turned out real good.
All right, well, we're going to drink our coffee and eat our dessert. And that wraps up this Thanksgiving doubleheader episode of Crockpot Meals for Real Men. I hope you enjoy this if you try it. I want to say happy Thanksgiving to you all, and may God bless you and yours. This is Spec Ops 56 saying over and out.